This is ETX, the flagship.
It is.
Right? A1 with a bullet.
There you go. There you go. Again, that next level of performance and output and pro features. To take your gig to that level when you're ready, we have it for you.
Yeah, so this is actually an interesting line, only available in powered models.
Correct.
But that's because we're putting so much technology into this amplification and really turning it up to a performance level that's right at that edge of full-blown concert sound.
Correct.
Right?
And Mike, you're right. This is just a powered line. We have other products for passive in this performance level in our install products. So there was no reason to duplicate it. But in a powered speaker enclosure and system, this is our Mac Daddy.
Okay, so walk me through which models are in the family. Which shapes and sizes do we got here?
You got it. You have a 10-inch two-way, a 12-inch two-way, a 15-inch two-way, a 15-inch three-way, a 15-inch subwoofer, and an 18-inch subwoofer.
Okay, so there's still
any
a lot
combination.
Here. Okay, but mixing and matching, no problem throughout.
Never a problem.
Any of it. They all sound pretty close to the same. Or?
They are. And that's one thing you'll know from EV all across our lines. When you go across our models, they are voiced very, very similar. What you're going to get is a higher level performance output, right? As you move up the line. So ETX obviously is our flagship. Most output, most performance, most DSP, most features. Right. It just goes on and on and on.
Yeah. So then, what makes ETX also physically professional, right?
Okay. We go up to 18 millimeter plywood in the construction of all the cabinets from 15 millimeter plywood from our previous version of EKX, right? So we're taking up the construction level. Again, EV coat on everything basically is a incredibly durable black coating that we put on all our professional grade products.
Yeah.
Right? And then it gets into all the details, the components, the sensitivity of the components, our highest level components for performance, and then the DSP and all the other features available to the user. Again, you can plug these in and they'll play, and they'll sound great, but you can dive in as deep as you want on this stuff.
Okay, so the actual physical construction is boosted with the thicker wood.
Yep.
I see that it actually does have, the tops have two different pole mounts, right? So one that's straight up and then one that tilts a little bit?
Tilts forward, correct. Okay. If these were up on a stage and you needed the top to get the focus of the sound at the audience ear level, we have a tilt option available as in the pole mount.
That's a cool option. And then from there, I mean, you're really digging to all the stuff that's in the box, right? And this is where we're really featuring some incredible EV woofers, right?
Exactly.
That are really concert sound stuff that you do find in our concert boxes.
Exactly, correct. With the power that we put in this thing at 2,000 watts, up to 2,000 watts for the tops, then the components that have to go with something like that, from a sensitivity level and everything else to get the output performance and be safe and keep playing and never stop.
They're saying, give it to me. I can take more. Give it to me.
Exactly.
So, and that's where we get that loudness, right? This family goes up to 136 dB max SPL, which man, that's more than loud enough for most of your applications, believe me.
Right on.
And then, from there, you're really looking at all the electronics that really are setting this as that major leap into pro stuff. And that's I mean, how are we doing that? What is in there? What's the mojo?
Well, we'll start with just some very sophisticated, but the very basic, so it's easy to explain. Anytime you have a two-way box or two different components playing together, you have to have a crossover network of some sort to keep those. Now, in standard and traditional crossover networks, there's an overlap that happens between the two components. So the woofer will play from here up to a certain point, and the high-frequency transducer will start here and take over, but there's what we call this overlap in the middle, and we call this the GAC in the middle. We've included FIR filters as far as the crossover network goes on ETX. Basically, it's pretty much a brick wall crossover. So these two components don't fight each other. This plays up to a certain point and stops, and this takes over from there, and that's where you get that whole next level of performance. And people out there, you're hearing more and more about FIR filters, okay, and FIR presets, things like this. It's that next level of great audio.
Right. So we've got the FIR filters that obviously produce not only great audio, very linear frequency response, but also in what you mentioned there with the crossover slopes being very, very steep. You're not asking the woofer to do more than it should.
Exactly.
You're not asking the high frequency driver to do more than it should, which makes them more efficient, which makes them louder, which makes them sound better.
You got it.
It's just, it keeps getting better, right?
Exactly correct.
But, so a lot of people are saying they've got FIR filters, right? But we actually have additional things beyond an FIR filter, and we call that FIR-Drive. What else do we add?
Got it. As part of our DSP and what you described as FIR-Drive, takes into account peak anticipation limiters, right?
Okay.
So it's look-ahead technology in the amplifier and the DSP. So if you have a signal coming in to the amplifier, this sensor can see if something is hitting limit prior to producing the audio out the other side.
So it knows what you're doing
before you do it. Right. Exactly. Cool. And it keeps that from it going all the way through the amplifier, amplifying it and going out the speaker, and that's where damage occurs, right? So it's a protection circuit, right? So it's a look ahead prior to the audio being heard is compensating for that and not allowing that distortion or limit to go through the.
So it's going to reduce that level to a safe, passable audio. It's going to still pass. It's not muting.
Correct.
It's just protecting itself, saying, don't hurt me.
Correct.
Let's keep going.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So beyond that, then there's also like temperature stuff in here.
Exactly. It has temperature sensing, right? So if you drive any loudspeaker system for beyond its capabilities, right? For a longer period of time at full output, the components heat up. Everything heats up. The amplifier heats up. The components heat up. We have temp sensing in here, which basically will reduce the amount of power very slightly and gradually when you start approaching that temperature sensor cutoff, right? So again, it's protection. It's protecting your components. It's protecting your gear. It's always working to make it continue to work.
And it's not actually, it's my understanding that the way it actually works isn't sensing the temperature. There's not like a thermometer in there that says, but it's actually, we're able to do this and no one else is because we know the failure points of everything that we do. We build the amplifier, we build the woofers, we build everything about this product. So we know we can basically look at over time and voltage and calculate what that temperature is calculated to be and protect itself just because we own the components. We know everything about them and know how to protect them.
That's our amazing engineers. You're exactly right. A great explanation, by the way.
So beyond FIR-Drive, right, which does this really great stuff, there's additional features in the electronic domain in the DSP that ETX has that is very unique here.
Exactly.
What else do we got?
A couple of things just to mention. Again, as we previously described, cardioid subwoofer configuration is in our DSP on the ETX line.
Okay,
so you
get
that
that again here.
Again here, right? On a higher level performance, that's when you're really going to be able to use that, utilize it, and save performances. Beyond that, then we get into the very finite details of parametric EQ in the ETX line. That's kind of a first overall. A much bigger display, great input level sensing, master output, and just a real deep level of DSP, including delay, speakers delay. So if you have multiple sets of speakers set on stage, another set 30 yards out in a stadium, you're going to want to delay the front of house to those speakers so it's time aligned. All those DSP settings are available to you by both feet and time.
That's cool, man. There's a lot of stuff. Obviously, you know, pro features, pro box, loud.
I love these things.
It sounds so good.
It's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. It really is. I mean, every time you turn this thing on, it's just that warmth and that clarity that you just don't get. every day, and all the EV stuff sounds good, but ETX is obviously my favorite, but
mine too.
Yeah, exactly. But it is what it is. But thank you so much for showing me all this stuff. All of these portable speakers are just fantastic. How do people kind of get to that point of understanding what's the right one for them? How do they know?
Well, I think it's obvious by their performance. I think for ZLX, I can use it in my backyard. I can use it just for entertainment. But then if I'm going to have people over in my garage and out in the cul-de-sac, I'm going to need a bigger system. That's how, you can come to our website. We have all sorts of information there to educate everyone on our different levels, how to get there, what you need. Most likely in my world and you're an artist, you're a performer, I'm a performer, we deal with problems when we're performing, and then we seek the solution.
Yeah.
So, I'll say, if you have feedback situations in your school, in your church, at your performance, we have a solution for you.
Yeah.
We can help.
Yeah.
So come to us, ask us.
Absolutely.
We're more than willing.
Yeah, and I always encourage people to just listen to this stuff too.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
use your ears.
listen. Yeah. When you hear it, you got it.
Exactly.